Here is a step-by-step guide on how to utilize a rage room to cleanse and clear stagnant energy tied to the feminine wound, and as a two for one, to help heal your inner child. As a disclaimer, this is for informational purposes only and educational. If you are going to do this, please make sure you do it in a rage room because they have safety measures in place so you can get the most from this experience. Back in 2023, I had a very disruptive relationship that ended in a very chaotic manner, and it sent me into a very deep depression. And I really had to look at myself and how I had allowed that relationship to even be a part of my life. And what I found was a deep connection to the feminine wound. So, what I did is I planned to go to a rage room, and I wanted it to be something that was very mindful. Because if you go to a rage room and your nervous system is not regulated, you haven't done any deep work or any type of cleansing and clearing leading up to it, you're basically just going to be doing a quick release, but it's from a unconscious place, a subconscious place, and we want this to be conscious. We want you to get the most from this. So what I did is I planned my visit on and around the full moon because that's when you're more and most tapped into the feminine energy. And then in between that time, I cleansed and cleared my entire meridian system. Now, this is what was called for me to do at that time. You may need different energy systems addressed. Everybody is different. I highly recommend learning how to muscle test so you know exactly what type of modality will best serve you before doing this. Because when you cleanse and clear your energy, it releases the blocks that may be tied to this wound. For me, the meridian system definitely was a part of it. And in cleansing and clearing that, it prepared my body to have the best experience. After doing the energy healing, my body was primed and ready, and I felt really good. And when I showed up to the rage room, I was ready to allow whatever needed to come out to come out. I went by myself. I did not have anyone else with me. I did this because I wanted my spirit guides to support me. I also find for me, myself, I tend to shut myself down when I'm around other people because I've been told I'm too much and I'm a lot. And I wanted to give myself that space to heal. And I encourage people to do things solo because that makes more room for you, your inner child, your ancestors, your spirit team, God, infinite spirit to come in and talk to you. When you have other people around, it can actually deter you, especially if you're in the beginning. Now, I'm not saying don't involve yourself in group activities ever, but there are certain times on your healing journey where it needs to be only you and spirit. It's very similar to when you have one-on-one dates. It's nice to have friends around, but you want that one-on-one time to really feel like you are in it together. On my healing journey, I found that one-on-one time with spirit is very sacred to me, and it's very necessary to deepen this relationship and this connection. And it's something that I feel serves everyone, not just me. So I booked this session for a one-on-one with myself and my guides. And every time an emotion would arise, I'd be with it, I'd be present. And then when the memory came up, whatever feeling memory, I would look at the glass, I'd pick a glass or something, and I would instill the thought into or memory, whatever was coming up into that glass. And then I would set the intention to release it from my body. And I would send the energy out. And as that plate, glass, whatever broke, it was releasing that energy. This is healthy projection. People, when unconscious, project their energy out a lot, and it is pretty unchecked. So when you are on your healing journey, stuff is going to come out. And so in taking ownership of it, you're not only able to transmute it from a conscious place, but you're not going to dump it on anybody else. You are actually going to take ownership rather than putting it on somebody else, because when you put it on somebody else, you actually aren't taking full ownership of it, which means you actually aren't going to be able to heal it to the depths in which you probably need to go. So that is another reason why doing it by yourself is very helpful, because you aren't dumping your energy on it to anybody else, and you're learning to trust your inner instincts, and you're learning to listen. A lot of us have been taught to ignore that inner voice, especially as women. So this was very healing for me, not only to release a lot of anger and rage around this relationship, but it took me into the deeper levels of where these origins were within my life, where they showed up, where they started, and I really got to hold space for this inner child. And when I was done, I was there for about an hour. I felt this big release. I felt really good, and I felt like that released a lot of stagnant energy. And from that release, I then gained a lot of clarity on how to move forward after doing that ceremony. And it was done with so much intention, and I was received with so much grace throughout the whole process. It was a very beautiful healing ceremony, and one that allowed me to embrace anger from a healthy perspective. And also, it taught me how to work with anger rather than reject it. And it also showed me how to take ownership of these big emotions so I don't project them, so I know how to healthily deal with them. And also, it showed me the importance of energy healing work, because if those emotions become stagnant, they will be stored within your physical body and your energetic body. And depending on how deep those wounds are, you may need to address multiple systems in order to cleanse and clear that. And when it came to the feminine wound, I then, after this, had to go deeper. And because I did this ceremony, it really initiated me and set me up for success in continuing that healing work. So this is just a beautiful way to get it all out on the table, to release it, let it out in a healthy, contained, and safe way. And then once that energy is cleansed and cleared, it really allows you the freedom and space to know what to do next, what healing modalities to include. And it gives you almost like a sense of self back. It gives you a piece of who you are back, which is almost like receiving a piece of your soul. In some shamanic practices, there is something called a soul retrieval, where parts of yourself are lost and the shaman will go and retrieve it. This essentially is a soul retrieval practice, because it is so mindful, because it is so impregnated with intention. There's no way that something won't be reborn from this. It's calling back that energy, that piece of you, to be reborn in the present so it can move forward with you as you go on your healing journey. So you can start to release that energy. And so you can start to feel empowered to reignite those other pieces of you that have been lost along the way. And even thinking about it, it's such a powerful practice. If you feel like you have all this rage coming up, please know that it is just a part of the healing process. Having a safe way to release it is necessary. And I got the best results from that practice because I did the energy healing beforehand. Physical work is great, but if you have blockages in your energetic field and in your physical body, it will hinder the amount of release that will take place. And it can actually create disruptive releases, which are unhealthy. So, in clearing the flow of your energy field, this will set you up for greater success, not only during the practice, but after as well.